Hello, welcome to Michelle Sews Again. I'm Michelle. Are you interested in hearing about my weekend? That may not sound very interesting to you, but if you've been following along, then you know that I just had a Socation with some of my sewing buddies here from YouTube. And I have to tell you, we had an absolute blast. I would highly encourage you, if you have a group of friends that you sew or you talk about sewing with, or even if it's a different craft or a different interest, if you've got a group of friends that you all share a common interest, I highly encourage you to do something like this because it was just so amazing. So to give you a little bit of background, there's this group of us that have connected through YouTube and Instagram, and we do kind of weekly Zoom calls, not every week, but we're pretty consistent. And so we've gotten to know each other pretty well, and we had kind of all gathered together and decided that we wanted to do this Socation. Really, it was Heather May from Textile Tailor Thought. She's the one that really instigated it, and many months ago. And so this has been in the planning stages for quite some time now. And Heather, because she kind of grew up in this area, she really kind of organized it and really thought through like all the fabric stores that we were going to go to because she's familiar with the area, and she went all out, y'all. If not for her, like, she's the one that made this weekend so special. She's the one that brought it all together, and she's fantastic. If you are not already following her, what are you waiting for? Go into my description box, click on the link, and go give her a follow. She's fantastic. Anyway, so the participants in the Socation were obviously me, obviously Heather, but also Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room, who is the originator for #FridaySews, Carmen from Carmen Salome, Mari from Mari Sews, and the five of us just had an amazing time. It was my first time meeting the other ladies. I had met Heather a few times, and we've had, you know, lunch and dinner together, and we really enjoy each other's company. But meeting the other ladies for the first time was just so joyful. And I don't know, I'm gonna gush a lot because I had such a great time, so forgive me. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about the weekend. So Heather came and picked me up about 12:30 on Thursday. Truck packed to the gills. We get there, we unload, we set up the sewing table because Heather brought a couple of extra sewing machines for some of the ladies. And so we had our sewing station set up and just like hung around the house until Jen and Carmen showed up. They came from the other coast. And so the four of us were there on Thursday. We went out to eat, and Thursday night, we went thrifting, and that was it wasn't my first time at a thrift store, but I have not ever had the patience to go through the racks. So I have tried a handful of times, a very small handful of times, to go to a thrift store and try and find either whether it's clothes or fabric or whatever, and I just look and I turn around and I walk out. It hasn't been my thing. I don't have the patience. But then I see people with these amazing garments that they've made out of either fabric or tablecloths or bedspreads or sheets or shower curtains or other clothes that they've upcycled into these amazing garments. And I'm like, how did they find that? I don't see that when I go. Of course, I don't give myself a chance. So Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room she loves thrifting, and she has found some amazing things. She upcycles on her channel all the time. Obviously, if you're following me, I'm certain that you're following her. But if you're not, then again, go check her out in the description box and click on her and check her out. She has a lot of upcycling, which is inspiring to me. So we asked her if she would kind of walk us through the thrift store and tell us what she looks for. So that was helpful to me. So what we did was there was a Goodwill Superstore not that far from the rental that we were at. And so we went there after dinner the first night, and we just kind of, she kind of just talked me through, like, these are the sections that you go to, because, you know, long dresses have a lot of fabric. So that's something that you can use for upcycling, because you're going to have enough fabric to utilize. Go to the home section and look through sheets and comforters and tablecloths. And she doesn't like look through the racks like this. She scans for colors that catch her eye. And that was the piece that was missing to me, because I always felt like I needed to go through, if I was really going to do it right and not miss anything, that I had to go through the racks. And I'm telling you, man, the racks are just like packed. So I thought that was like, that's the key. That's what I'd been missing. So I just started scanning the racks. I found colors that popped to me, and I ended up with 3 pieces of fabric. So I'm going to get more into my fabric haul from the weekend in a separate video. So that will be coming, because we'd be here all night if I tried to include that in this video here. But I ended up with 3 pieces of fabric. I measured them once we got back to the house, and each of them was a little over 3 yards. And I got all 3 pieces for $8. So basically, what's that? A little over 9 yards, maybe 9.5 yards in total for $8. So I will wash them very well, because that's also part of what my hesitation was, is the idea of getting fabric from a thrift store, like just kind of, I don't know. I was having trouble with it. So I got some OxyClean. I'm going to wash them thoroughly a couple of times, and then I feel like I'll be good to go. So that was the first night. And so that was throughout the weekend. We had several kind of tutorial classes kind of things. And that was our first one, was our class in thrifting. And then on Friday morning, Mari from Mari Sews flew in, and Heather went and picked her up from the airport. And so then Mari got to the house, and she unpacked, put her stuff away. And then the first class on Friday was about ice dyeing. So we did the ice dyeing. Everybody brought either a t-shirt or a dress. We got all that like done and put away. And then we kind of had some gift bag kind of things some of us brought for each other. So Heather, again, completely outdid herself, and she had these huge gift baskets for each of us that were just chock full of really fun things. There was a piece of fabric in there. I'm going to share that with my fabric haul that I'm going to do later in the week. I forgot the walk in the door gift. I mean, Heather really went above and beyond. She handmade, let me see if I can show you. She handmade these wine glass charms. They're so beautiful. She made one for each of us so that we could keep track of our wine while we were there, and I will keep this forever because I love it. So then she had these big, huge gift baskets for each of us, and she had asked us a while back what each of our favorite colors were, and she incorporated that into the gift basket, and it was just chock full of really amazing stuff. I mean, there was just so many things in there. I can't go through all of it, but you know, like this cute notepads and pens and needles and these beautiful labels to use in our garments, and we each got a mug. They all had a different saying on them. Mine says, "Taking it one stitch at a time." I love that. And then I had given everybody a gift. I had, I don't know if you remember, I made these, I did like a quick tutorial on how to do these project bags, and I gave everybody one with some yarn and some needles, and we tried to have a knitting tutorial one night, but I'm a better knitter than I am a teacher. So. And then Jen gave us all a little gift bag as well. I think everybody was very excited to get some Cracker Jacks. Who doesn't love a good Cracker Jack? She gave us all a pattern that she thought we would like, and lint brushes, and and the really great piece that she gave everybody, she made us all these magnetic pin holders. And I love this one because it reminds me of the china that my grandmother had when I was growing up. It's not the exact same pattern, but it's very close, and I will cherish it. so by the time we finished with all of that, it was later in the afternoon. And so we took a couple of hours and we went to a couple of fabric shops that were local in Fort Lauderdale. We went to A to Z Fabrics first, and I found one piece of fabric there. The other ladies found a little bit. Not everybody, I don't think everybody bought something there. We did struggle a little bit there. They had some nice stuff and decent prices, but out of the 5 of us, 4 of us, like when we brought the fabric up to the counter, there were problems with the fabric, either holes or mold or, you know, I don't know. It just was not necessarily our favorite place. And Heather did say there was another A to Z down in Miami. We didn't make it there during the weekend, but maybe we'll make it there in the future. And she felt like the one downtown would be a better location for us to try out. And then we went to S&S, maybe? S&S Fabrics. And that one was nice. I don't think any of us found anything there. They had some nice stuff. Anyway, so nobody found anything at the second store. They had some nice stuff, but nothing was compelling enough for us to lay out some dough. And then we went back to the house, and Friday night, Madi cooked. I cannot tell you what the name of the dish was because it was a Puerto Rican dish and I can't pronounce it. But I can tell you that it was quite delicious. It was rice and beans and chicken, and oh my God, it was so good. And Heather made a delicious salad, so we ate very well Friday night. And then Saturday, we got up and we got started. I think we got up and we got dressed, and oh, that's the morning that Heather and Madi and I went to downtown Hollywood, Florida. They have like this mural kind of tour. And so we went down to Hollywood Boulevard, and we didn't hit all of the murals, but we hit a handful of them, and we did kind of like a photo shoot. Madi is very good at directing photo shoots and telling us how to pose and, you know, what to do with our neck and our chin. And it was a lot of fun. So I'll have some pictures to post on Instagram of that. I'll throw a couple of them up here. But we had a lot of fun doing that. It was hot as blazes though. Thank goodness we did it early in the morning, because by the time we were done, we were hot and sweaty. So that was a lot of fun. And then we went back to the house and picked Carmen and Jen up, and then we headed down to Miami and we went fabric shopping, and we went to, let's see, we went to Lex Fabrics first, and that one, I think, it didn't have as much stuff as the other places that we went, but I feel like I liked the customer service there. And I like the fact that it wasn't that far from my house where I live. And they had really great stuff at really great prices. I bought a fabric that I'm gonna use to make a jacket later on in the year. I got it for a great price. I got 4 yards. They were $4.50 a yard. So I got 4 yards for, you know, less than 20 bucks. It was amazing. And I think everybody ended up with a purchase at that store. And that's Lex Fabrics. And then we went downtown, and there were 3 stores that were all within walking distance of each other. So we went to Nunez Fabrics first, and then we went to the store right next door was Carol's Fabrics, and the owner there was very helpful and welcoming. He was very overwhelmed. He doesn't have enough help, but the store is like jam-packed with fabrics. Beautiful fabrics. He buys very nice fabrics. So if you can go to Carol's, Jason is the owner. He is very personable. He's very knowledgeable and very helpful. So I definitely recommend going there. He is working on renovating the place, so it is kind of a shambles right now. He's got fabric like everywhere, but it's nice fabric, and he's helpful and knowledgeable and a good guy, so I definitely recommend going to Carol's. I actually got a piece of fabric there too, which I think when I show it to you, you'll be a little surprised because it's not my typical look, but I love it. And then the next store we went to was Rose's Fabric, And that one was a couple of blocks away from Nunez and Carol's. And I think Jen might be the only one that found anything there, but also another nice shop. And then by the time we were done, I mean, I said all that quick, but that was hours of shopping. And my knees were killing me. Everybody was kind of like, oh. But we weren't done yet. We had to get in the truck then, and then we went to Tandy Leather. I'm going to tell you, this was on Mari's list. She really wanted to hit Tandy Leather. When we walked in there, y'all, I didn't know that was a place I needed to be. I found some gorgeous pieces of leather. I wouldn't say I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. I don't have solid plans for what I'm going to do with them. I have possible plans, but I can't wait to show you what I got. And the prices were nowhere near what I expected them to be. The leathers are just absolutely gorgeous. And they had a clearance table full of like huge pieces of leather for 20 bucks for the whole piece. It was like amazing. Anyway, so by the time we were finished there, we were all spent. So we went back to Fort Lauderdale, went back to the rental house, and unloaded all of our spoils, and Heather cooked an amazing dinner. We had lasagna for dinner Saturday night, and it was divine. And you know, we did get some sewing in there. I can't remember when, but there was sewing in there. It might have been Friday night. It must have been Friday night. We got some sewing in. I needed to do some pattern matching for the pocket on my jacket that I'm making for my collaboration with Yvette. And I've never pattern matched before, especially not something that's not a consistent repeat. Like it's not, it's just this fabric has these big, huge flowers and leaves. And I wasn't sure how to figure out how to place the fabric, and Mari helped me with that. So I learned how to do that. I messed it up, but that was on me because I put it in the wrong place. I didn't read the instructions all the way through. You'd think I'd learned my lesson, but I didn't. And so that was a fun night. So the night that Mari taught me how to pattern match, everybody else was paying attention. So it was kind of like a mini tutorial. She also gave us a bias tape tutorial, which she's actually already published a video on. I think that one went out today. I will link it below, but it is how to make continuous bias tape. So she gave us a tutorial there. So we had the ice dyeing tutorial. Then Saturday when we came back from shopping, after Heather finished putting the lasagna together and it was in the oven, then we went and we rinsed out our tie-dye so that we could see everybody's patterns. That was a lot of fun. And then we just kind of hung them to dry. And let's see. Oh, we had raffles. Heather had raffles, y'all. It was crazy. And I won 4 patterns. She had PDF patterns that she had bought and raffled off. So I have 4 of those. I'll share those probably in the fabric haul video, just so this doesn't get too long. Okay, so to wrap it up, I'm going to share with you what my favorite moment of the weekend was, and what I learned over the weekend, and what I recommend that you do if you decide that you want to do something like this with some of your buddies. So what my favorite moment, I had a couple of favorite moments from the weekend. I had 3 of them that I can think of. One was we watched a lot of YouTube while we were like sitting around chit-chatting. And one of my favorite moments was watching Mari be so touched and grateful at all the other YouTubers that are supporting her project Dress a Girl. It was just so nice to see how touched she was. And it was really special because this project is amazing. If you don't already know about it, go and check out Mari's video for her introduction. But there are some really great YouTubers that are supporting this, and you don't have to be a YouTuber to support it. Like, just participate. You can make a little girl's dress and you know, give it to the ambassador in your area. If you don't want to do that, then you can send it to Mari and she'll put it in the donation for you, but go check out her intro, and then I'll link a couple of people below that have already done their videos. Mine's coming out on the 18th. But several YouTubers have already participated. There are several more to come. I really encourage you to go and check out the hashtag Project Dress a Girl, both on YouTube and on Instagram. It is a really great cause, and go check out Mari's intro video. So it was just really special to see how touched she was at all the support and participation. So that was a really great moment. I really enjoyed meeting everybody. So like when Heather and I walked into the house and Jen and Carmen were there because they came while we were out eating dinner, we walked in and they were there, and it was just so awesome to see their faces for the first time in person. And then the next day when Mari came and I met her for the first, I just seeing the faces in person for the first time was just amazing. Those were some of my favorite moments. And then just honestly, Heather being so amazing. She was an amazing tour guide. She organized everything so great, and just she's a really good person and a great friend. And I feel blessed that I have met her and she's in my life now. So those were my favorite moments. What did I learn? I feel like I learned a lot. It feels like a really great educational weekend as well. I learned how to pattern match, which I never knew. It always seemed so intimidating to me, and it's just so easy. I learned some things about YouTube and how to read analytics and how to interpret them and what to do with the information. So what advice would I give to somebody that is planning to do something like this with their group of friends? So I think that, we had a really great location, and there were definitely things that I think we all agreed would be better if we did this again. This was a great first time. We had plenty of room for the sewing machines. That was great. We could have used a little bit more room for maybe cutting or pinning or other activities that go along with sewing. I think that we would probably also want a second bathroom. It worked out fine. We didn't have any struggles, but I think a second bathroom is, when you have 5 or more women, is probably a good thing. We definitely enjoyed the fabric shopping. So definitely if it's sewing related, then I definitely recommend you have it in an area that has a nice amount of fabric shops to choose from, because we got a wide variety of fabric types that we got to shop from. We did wovens and spandex and sequins and leathers. I mean, we had everything we could dream of to shop for. And so I think that's part of what made it so fun. If all you have is a Joann's and a Hobby Lobby, I mean, that's, you can get that anywhere. So definitely think about the location that you want to have it in. And then I think another part of the fun for the weekend was, some of us brought, Heather and Jen specifically, I brought a small handful, but Heather and Jen specifically both brought tons of patterns from their stash that they were just destashing. So everybody was kind of going through and picking things from these pattern stashes and going home with some new patterns. And Jen brought out a little bit of fabric that she was destashing. So definitely organize a pattern swap, a fabric swap, a destash, whatever you want to call it, because that's a lot of fun. It lets you get rid of some things, and it lets other people go home with some fun takeaways. So those are my recommendations. I don't know what the other girls will have to say, but anyway, I cannot even begin to tell you how much fun we had, how special it was. It was just so nice to connect with these ladies in person, and we got to know each other, and we talked about all kinds of things, and we just had a blast. And I hope that you have a chance to do this with some of your sewing buddies, or whatever hobby it is that you do. So I would love to know what your thoughts are. Would you think about doing this? Is this something that sounds like fun to you? I'd love to know your thoughts on it, and what would you do different? What would you incorporate into your Socation? I'd love to know. Wherever you are, I hope that you're having a fabulous weather day, and I hope that you're able to get some sewing in. I really appreciate you joining me. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.